right, so now we're going to speak about the issue that was had and overcome and then subsequently fixed. It is a very uncommon issue, but we're going to talk about it. So this is your connector, okay? And as it sits in the firearm, it would be sitting like this, right? If you notice, it's not perfectly straight. It comes this way, right there, right? Now, if there's not enough tension there, and it's too far this way, right, towards the firing mechanism, then what can happen, as we spoke about in the other video, is the cruciform bumps past it, locking the gun up, okay? If there's too little tension and a little bit too much material in this space here, this triangular space here, then the back of the trigger bar, will start bumping into that plastic, or polymer triangle in the back there, okay? And it'll present by feeling like you're just bumping across something, because that's what's happening. The square rear edge of the cruciform is bumping against the very square edge of the polymer. And what it's doing, when you press the trigger, you'll take up the slack and you'll feel it bumping before releasing. And then that'll get a little heavier, and then the trigger pull will get heavier and heavier and heavier. And then eventually it just dead stops against that, boom, like that. And you're just pressing against nothing. You're not dropping it out of place. So the fix for that is kind of twofold. Add a little tension to the connector. It's not going to affect your trigger pull at all. It's just going to make sure that the cruciform doesn't bump past it. And remove a little bit of material from that block there, and then everything is easy peasy and it's perfect, and it's 100% ever since. So there's the fix for that problem. I don't think there's another video on YouTube that addresses it, because it's such a not a common issue. But I have seen it present in 3 guns. 2 were not mine, 1 was mine, and it is fixed, identified, and rectified. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to speak about rectifying, getting the slide off of the frame if you had an issue, as spoken about in the previous video, in regards to the cruciform bumping up and bypassing the connector. So you can press the trigger to the rear all you want, and it's never going to fall out of battery. It's always going to be preloading the striker inside the firearm. So if that presents and you try to remove the slide, it's never going to come off the front of the gun, okay? So how do you get it off? If you can't get it off the front of the gun, how do you get the slide off the frame, okay? So here's how you do that. You lock it to the rear, okay? You go in right forward of your striker, there's a detent. You're gonna push the detent in toward the frame. And when you do that, simultaneously, you're gonna put your thumb on the striker plate and pull it out, okay? So, there. Make sure you got something over the back of the pistol so things don't jump out of the rear. So you're taking the back plate off, and then you're gonna pull the striker assembly out. Then, slide comes off, okay? And to get it back on, you just reassemble the slide. You put the striker back in, put the back plate back on, and then you can assemble and reassemble as you typically would. But if you run into a situation where you cannot get the slide off the front of the gun, remove the back plate, remove the striker, it'll come off every time. Okay, and what causes the striker to bypass the connector is, your connector is right here, okay? I purposely have set this problem up, okay? I pushed the connector in and pulled the cruciform up. So as you can see, the cruciform is riding next to, not underneath the connector. That's what's gonna cause that thing to jump past the connector and lock the gun up, and subsequently you do the work that I had detailed in the other video. Now we're going to talk about the issue that is not a common issue with Glocks, but I've seen it 2 or 3 times, and it did happen on this pistol. Got it rectified, no problem.